Hey there, Regina Andler here, and it is time for Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a day job? Are you working right now? Are you happy with that job or are you miserable with that job? Maybe you've been working a job for years and years and years and you've been miserable for years and years and years. Maybe you've just kind of grown out of the job that you're in and what you're doing, and you said, "Isn't there something better than this? I'm really not doing what it is that I love to do." Well, here's the thing. It's your life. It's your story. You get to do whatever you want to do. However, I do have some tips for you. If you decide that you are in one of those jobs where you don't really quite want to be there anymore, you're thinking there's something better. I can go do something else. I have some talents. I have some skills. I can make a business of my own. Here's 10 tips for you on how to find the work you love while living the life you want. So you know, it's about getting out of that old routine and maybe moving into your life purpose. So, tip number 1, don't quit. I have so many people that are like, "I'm just going to quit my day job and start a business." Yeah, don't do that. Um, Especially if you need the income. Because here's the thing, starting a business is starting a business. When you think about starting a business, doesn't it sound like there's a little bit of work involved with that? Well, there is. There's a lot of things to consider, there's a lot of stuff going on. Chances are pretty good the day you start your business is not the day you're going to start making money. So, hold on to that day job because what you want to do is you want to plan it. Take some time and actually really get into planning what it is that you're doing so that you don't end up in some kind of financial crisis and then have to go back to another job. So hold on to that job. I'll tell you just a little tip. One of the things that I did, or a little side note, one of the things that I did was when I finally moved out of my tech career, I was over 30 years in the technical area. When I moved out of that, I was working a full time job. And then what I did was I moved down to part time. And then I kind of weaned my way out of the corporate world. So you could do something like that. Just don't quit right off. Otherwise, you could get yourself in some trouble there. So plan it. The next tip is to consider what your current position is. If you aren't really sure and you just know you're miserable, what are you doing and what is it that you want to do? Chances are pretty good if you've been working at something for years and years and years, there's pieces of it. Even if you don't like what you're doing, there's pieces of it that you love. Your skills, your core genius is shining through somewhere in there. Think about that current position and what is it? Why did you choose that job? Did you choose it because of the money, because of the benefits? Um, did you choose it because you liked the job description and it just sounded like it was a cool job and then found out maybe not so much? You know, think about what it is and then, make a list of the things that you actually really like about the job because some of those things may translate into your own business. Now, the next thing is to make that list of the things that you love to do. So actually write it down. What do you love to do outside of what you're doing in your business today? What is it that you want to do? Do you already have an idea for a business, for something that you want to do? Is it a side hobby job? Now, what do I mean by that? Is it a business that it's not going to replace your full-time income? However, it's something that you really love to do. You can make a little bit of extra income with it. So it's just like a side gig. So figure out what it is that you want to do, what that purpose is, and make a list of all the things that you love to do. What in that is your business? Because somewhere in all of that mix of the stuff that you love to do is your purpose. It's your reason for being. So, if you're miserable in your job, chances are good that you are not working your purpose. You're not working your core genius. Otherwise, you wouldn't be miserable. Because when you're working a core genius, you are not miserable at all. You are happy. You want to go do stuff. Everything that you need to do, it's not work. It's fun. It's play. It's learning. It's exciting. If that's not how you're feeling, chances are pretty good you're working a job even if it's a business that you created for yourself. If you don't like doing it, all you did was create a job for yourself. So think about that. Now, my next tip, number 4, is create your ideal life story. What does it look like? If you wrote out, your ideal life story, what are you doing for work? Where do you live? Who are you with? What are you seeing? What do you hear? What do you taste? What do you smell? The whole gamut of what does your ideal life look like? And whatever it is that you're doing today, is that promoting that life? The life you love, the life you want? Is what you're doing today promoting that lifestyle? If it's not, then it's time to stop and look at what you're doing, make some changes. And if you're looking to start a business, find out what it is that you want to do and is it a viable business? Because not every idea is a viable business. When people say you can make a living out of doing just about anything, yes, you can. Whether or not it's going to actually replace your income is a different story. If you like to crochet for a living and you make great hats and mittens and scarves and sweaters and all this stuff, you're one person. How many things can you crochet in 1 year? So while it might be a great hobby job and a little side gig because it's something that you love to do, it's very likely not going to replace your income. So think about what it is. Create your ideal life story. What are you doing in your ideal life? What is it that you do for a living? What is your purpose? Identify your core values and strengths. That's number 5. Go deep. Go deep on this. What is it that you really believe? And what are your strengths? Do you have a love of learning? Are you always authentic? Do you, your honesty, transparency, authenticity, everything that goes along with those values and your strengths tie into starting a business. So if you're working a job that you're not really jazzed up about and you're looking to check out options, and you know what? It may not be another business. You may go through these exercises and find out that, maybe I'm just not cut out to be a business owner. That could be true for a lot of people. The thing is that they can identify, well, what is it that I want to do? And go someplace different, doing what they love to do somewhere else. So it's not always about starting a business. It could be it's really about living the life that you want. So if you're not happy where you are right now with whatever it is that you're doing, then it's time to consider all of this to make a move. So identify those core values and strengths because they're really important as to who you are deep down inside, right? And what you feel, what you really want, and what you have to offer, right? The next one that I have for you is ask others. If you were to talk to your friends and family and other people who know you well, what would they say about you? It's sometimes, you can't see the forest for the trees. So we're so wrapped up in our lives and everything that we got going on. We don't see stuff that others automatically see in us. So if you asked someone else who knows you well, what is it about me that you think is like, the thing that I love the most, the thing that I should be doing? See what they say. You never know. You might get some ideas that you never even thought of before. Sometimes they can point out some of those strengths and weaknesses that we have. Sometimes it's you think you're very weak in something, and somebody else goes, "Are you serious? You're like the strongest person I know in that." And you just never considered it because a lot of times we devalue ourselves. So asking others can give you a really, really, really good idea on what it is and where you want to go, what it is you want to do and where you want to go. Number 7 is do your research. Go out and look before you decide to jump in feet first. The very first business I created was a brick and mortar business, and it was a computer repair shop. And again, I spent 30 plus years in the tech field, and it was really all about fixing home computers. Back in the day when not everybody had a home computer, there was still dial-up internet and all this kind of stuff. And the first thing I did is I went to the local small business administration and took every single course that I could possibly get my hands on how do I start a business, because I came from corporate world and literally had zero, no clue whatsoever on how to start a business. I had an MBA. Sure, I had a master's in business. That told me nothing about actually starting a business. Being a small business owner was completely foreign to me. So I went out and I did my research. I spent months researching, how do I do this? What do I need? Who do I need to talk to? I hooked up with a SCORE. I don't know if you know who SCORE is. SCORE is uh, Society of Retired Executives, something like that. And I know SCORE is still around. And what they offer is they team you up with a retired executive who's been there, done that, and helps you out, and it's all for free. So I hooked up with a SCORE counselor, and he helped me through most of the financials. That was definitely my lower point of what my knowledge base was, and just hooking up with them was able to give me the information that I needed to keep moving forward. So go out and do your research. I mean, whatever the research is, whether it's the research on your niche, on your ideal client, does whatever you have and what you want to do you have a big enough audience to actually create a business with it? If you don't have a business. So, a business is all based on how many clients you have. I mean, if you're not selling anything, you don't have a business. It's just a hobby. You're making something or doing something. It's just a hobby, right? You need somebody to actually purchase whatever it is that you're doing, or it's not a business. So go out and do your research. Are there people out there who want what it is that you have to offer? And if there is, there you go. Do some more research, figure out what it is. The next step, number 8, is to remove your limiting beliefs. As you start going through this process, you're going to say, I'm not smart enough. I'm, I'm not worthy. I'm too old. I'm too young. They just all come in. Those limiting beliefs are those things that will hold you back from really moving out and doing what you want to do. I've met many, 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 many people over the years that are in either in small businesses and corporate world that just day in and day out, they are miserable and they really don't want to be doing what they're doing. And it's all because, and the only reason that they don't move from there is because of limiting beliefs. So number 8 is to work on those limiting beliefs. And when I say the limiting beliefs, you don't know the limiting belief is there. You just know that you're too scared to do something, or you don't think somebody's going to like it, or you don't feel like you're smart enough. As soon as you get that feeling, stop and think, is that a limiting belief? Am I smart enough? Yeah, I'm smart enough to go start a business. I'm smart enough to create the ideal life that I want. I am actually smart enough to do all this, because you are. Deep down, you are. So number 8 is remove limiting beliefs. So identify and remove any limiting beliefs that you might have. The next one is to be present. When you're present and you're here and you're paying attention, you pick up on things that you didn't notice before. We have that thing in our brain, the reticular activator, that kind of filters out stuff for us. And when things are being filtered out, we just don't know the core of what it is that we really want. We just know that we're not happy. We're not living our ideal life. We're working a job that is literally there to pay the bills. If you're one of those people who has a job because you have bills to pay, and that's the only reason you have a job, I have bills to pay and I need the benefits. Stop and consider, well, why am I doing this? Because you know what? There is a job out there if you want a job working for someone else, and potentially a business if you are a business owner type that will suit you. So if you're doing something because you've just been doing it forever and ever, you got out of high school, you went to college, you started doing something, and then you realize it's not really what I want to do. However, inside there's someplace, there's something in there that you like. And the only reason that you're staying there is that limiting belief of, I'm too scared because I'm not smart enough to go do something else. Get rid of that limiting belief, be present, and pay attention to what's going on around you. See what's there, because there is something there. Every single one of us has a purpose in this life. And if you are not happy in your current job, then I guarantee you, you are not living your purpose. Because when you're living your purpose, everything works, everything's good. So I know this, I've done it. The last one, number 10, take time out for you and some self care. Because here's the thing, when you are all wrapped up, when you're first starting, you're like, I really want to make a move. I want to do something. I'm miserable. I know there's something better than this. That energy starts, percolating, and it's not good energy. That's the energy of lack, of scarcity. When you say, well, I have to work this job because I'm paying my bills, that's living in a scarcity mindset. So when you take time out for you and self care, believe it or not, that has something to do with that whole scarcity mindset. It's because you're shifting the energy. What you want to do is you want to shift your energy to something better. You want to move from that negative energy down here, down at the bottom, and shift it to the higher energy. And when you do that, I can guarantee you things will start coming to you, because energy attracts like energy. If you keep maintaining a scarcity mindset, I hate my job, I know there's something better, but I just can't do that. If you change that mindset, shift those words and say, you know what? I know there's something better out there, and I'm going to start exploring. When you take time out and you're present and then you're taking care of yourself and you're shifting that energy, magical things start to happen. Not kidding. So these are the 10 tips that I have for you. Again, starting from the top, we're going to say, and yes, I'm reading them from my list. So we're going to say we have, the first one is to not quit. Do not quit your day job. If you quit your day job and then you end up in a bigger hole, not a good thing. So don't quit your day job. You're going to not quit your day job. You're going to consider what it is that you're doing in your current position. And then make a list of all the things that you actually love to do. What is it that you love to do? From there, create your ideal life story. What do you want your life to look like? Where do you want to be? If you were living your version of your perfect life, what are you doing? Who are you with? How much money are you making? Where's it coming from? What's your business? Are you doing what you love to do? I bet you are. Next, identify your core values and all of your strengths, because all of that plays into who you are and that purpose. Most importantly, I think this is the most important. It's number 6. It's most important, though. It is to ask others. We do not see what's going on. Others see us in a completely different light. Ask others what they think you do. And then do your research. What is it that you want to do? Is there a market? Do you have some of the stuff out there? Believe it or not, for people who want to play video games all day long, there's actually a business for that. Now, you might not be able to start your own business. However, there's corporations that's all they do is they test video games all day long. You can make a lot of money playing video games. So if you actually love to play video games, there's actually businesses out there. You can get a job doing what you love, playing video games. So believe me, there's stuff out there depending on what it is that you want to do. Do your research, figure out what it is. Remove those limiting beliefs. Anytime you find yourself going, I can't, the words I can't, or but, you add those buts in. What's behind that? Chances are pretty good there's a limiting belief. It's, I'm not smart enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm too scared. The fear of rejection is another limiting belief. It's a fear. It's a limiting belief as well. So check in with yourself. What are those limiting beliefs? And hit them head on. Address them. This is your life. This is your life. Go live it. The next one is to be present. Be present in that life. What is going on around you? Is there somebody around you who's working what you consider to be your ideal job? What are they doing? Be present. See what's going on. Be aware of everything. Get that filter, that reticular activator, out of the way, and see things that maybe have been around you the whole time and you just have not noticed them. And then last but not least, take time out for you and self-care. Raise your energy level back up. If you've spent years and years and years in a job that you don't love, chances are pretty good you're kind of at a stagnant energy level because nothing's changed. You know, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and again, expecting a different result, and you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you're not getting the better result, and so you're kind of like stalled. Your energy's stalled. The only way to change that is to take a break. Take a break, take some self-care, and then raise your energy level up and hit the ground running. So those are my 10 tips for how to go out and find the work you love while living the life you want. And guess what? I actually have a consumer awareness guide exactly with that title. It's the 10 tips for finding the work you love while living the life you want. It's how to discover your passion and live your best life. So I'm going to drop the link to that underneath this video. So if you want to go a little bit more in depth, it has a couple of things and ideas for exercises to do to get your thoughts going. Just download that guide, and it's a free guide, and have fun with it. And we'll see you next week on Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Bye for now.